Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Drew, and this is episode 66 of the Dirty Christian Podcast. And as some of you guys know, I am he who is known as the Dirty Christian. Sorry, I got confused there for a second. Yeah, so I'm going to get stuff going here. Just make sure that I've got everything set up here, comments-wise. Hello, everyone who is watching. 23, wow. That is cool. Hope you guys are all doing well. I'm going to see. We're going to start here in about 5 minutes, folks. So, in case you're wondering, no audio. Just kidding. Oh, gosh. Jamie. Got me again. Curse you, Jamie Gallion. That audio problem. Remember, you're live now. Yes, I will keep my swearing to a minimum. It is. It's a 6. It is 1 digit away from Illuminati being confirmed. So we're going to talk about abortion today, and we're going to talk about election idolatry. And if you guys have been following this page much lately, you'll know that there is some idolatry happening in our country right now when it comes to this election. It's pretty insane. So I want to make sure I can still get the live comments. I don't want to miss out on those. And let me go here. Hope everybody's doing good today. Here we go. All right. Please, internet, please cooperate. Hi, Dewey. Hi, Nathan. Hi, Mark. All right, good. Looks like my comments are going to go through, which is good. So typically what I do is I'll do a 30-minute show, and then I'll open it up to about 10-15 minutes afterwards for questions if you guys have them. Nothing is off the table. Hello, Carson. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get started here. I know I said 5 minutes, but I meant like 2 or 3. All right, cool. Here we go. Starting podcast voice in 3, 2, and 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 66 of the Dirty Christian Podcast. I am Drew, and I am sometimes known as the Dirty Christian. It's been a interesting week, but before we get into the week, I want to say check out thedirtychristian.com for blog posts and updates. You can subscribe to the newsletter there. The Facebook page is always happening, especially as of lately, it's happening. And also check out the YouTube channel, youtube.com/thedirtychristian. I'm trying to do more videos there. I'm trying to keep up videos like a couple times a week, just topical things. I'm messing around. I'm not sure. I've grown in my maturity when it comes to not in life, but I've grown in my maturity when it comes to how I do videos now, and how often I do videos, and what kind of videos I do, the quality and the content. Initially, when the Dirty Christian had started, I was doing videos twice a week and doing topical stuff, and I think I was doing them Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I was doing this podcast. Now I just try to knock out a couple of videos a week, but I don't really have consistency because I don't want it to be forced. I want to talk about stuff that is important, stuff that is pertinent, and not just throwing a video out there because I care about the subscribers. To me, that's more important is the content and not the quality of people watching, which it seems to actually be doing well because more people, I think, recognize that that I care more about the message than I care about the popularity. So speaking of popularity, let's talk about, so I posted a meme, oh boy, it was this weekend, it was only a couple days ago, and it says, and I got this from a friend of mine named Nicholas who actually wrote it, and I told him I was taking it and using it. So it says something along the lines of, if you took what Donald Trump said and Lil Wayne said it, but made it into a song and put it on iTunes, it would be the #1 selling song. And the point was about what we as Americans accept when it comes to filth, vulgarity, and things like that. It wasn't really about Donald Trump or Lil Wayne. And yet I felt like, I feel like I still to this day still have to defend comments about that, because apparently you post anything political, and this is why I've avoided politics. I've avoided talking about politics. I've avoided talking about candidates. I've talked about issues. I think that issues are very important, but I've avoided talking about what my opinions are when it comes to the candidates and this election. But I can't be quiet anymore because I feel like people have to have somebody that'll stand up and say, look, yes, voting is a right, it's a privilege, but it's not mandatory, and you don't have to. And if your conscience doesn't allow you to vote for a specific candidate because of where they stand, you should not feel guilt or condemnation from anyone, especially from God, to not vote. I'm not voting for either of the main candidates at all, and my voting is private. Who I decide to vote for is who I feel like I can consciously vote for without feeling guilt or condemnation, or feeling like I'm approving of the stance that candidate has. So my point was that the second that you mention politics, the most insane people come out of the woodworks. I can't even begin to describe, like, just the lunatics. Now, I know, look, I'm not going to ad hominem any person in particular, okay? This is a people group problem. Like, when I address the church, when I talk about the church, I'm addressing the church as a whole, not every single person in the church. When I address people that are passionate about the election and politics, I'm not calling anyone out, but I'm talking about, in general, the insanity that I have seen from people in support of Donald Trump and in support of Hillary Clinton. The only way to sum up what that is and what they're doing is it's pure and simple idolatry. You have elevated someone past the point of mere human being. You have made them a savior. You have made them a messiah in a way. You have made them a type of God, and you cannot be reasoned with. And here's the prime example of what I mean. You cannot be reasoned with. So, in one of the threads, I'm having a conversation with someone who doesn't have a clue about how the election process works, and feels like, and I was, let me just caveat this. I was not, until I did enough research, I didn't understand this myself. I didn't know that, I would have thought that a non-vote for Trump would be a vote for Clinton, right? Because that's typically the rhetoric that you hear. If you don't vote for Donald Trump, you are voting for Hillary Clinton. Okay, and I don't have the ability or the smarts to regurgitate what I've read regarding that. But let me just say that At the end of the day, there are states, and states represent, each state kind of represents the voting majority, whether that state will vote for Democrat or Republican. And there are things called swing states, which typically could go either way. But each state is afforded a certain amount of votes to go towards the presidency. So at the end of the day, what it really boils down to is the states, the amount of votes that they have, or the amount of power that they have in the Electoral College, and where they fall in line with the Democrat or Republican side. And that's why you mostly see two parties, the Democrats and Republicans, when it comes down to it. And so that ultimately means that my individual vote, if I'm a Trump supporter and I don't vote for Trump, then I'm voting for Clinton. That's not true. It doesn't work that way. A non-vote is literally a non-vote. And so in getting in this discussion with somebody, they didn't understand they didn't understand that that's how that works. And so, of course, then you have this radical political problem, where now you must go and evangelize your candidate to every single person and then criticize and belittle them for not having the same values. Now, let me just say this. If the people that evangelized for Trump or Clinton evangelized Christianity to an equal level, the gospel would be spread like crazy. All right? So no conviction aside from that, just a thought. I want you guys to consider that. So what you need to fully grasp is that this person that I was talking to in this thread, I was trying to explain this, and I posted articles, I was trying to explain this whole process to them, and they were essentially like, no, that's not true. Then they said, Donald Trump is the only person that will stop Sharia law in our country. Now, this is where my temples start to vibrate. So I said, okay. I said, I think you may be misunderstanding what Sharia law is. Can you give me an example where Sharia law is the law in our country? Can you give me a state? Give me a city? Give me a small community where Sharia law is the law of that land. And so this person went ahead and posted a couple articles of terror attacks where a radical Islamic terrorist chopped the head off of a woman. I think it was in Oklahoma or something like that. And so they used this as an example of Sharia law. Now, anyone who does even just a little bit of research, and I must say, I'm not an advocate of Wikipedia, but you could simply go to Google and say, Dear Google, what is Sharia law? Tell me what Sharia law is. And it will tell you that Sharia law is a system in place in many Muslim-governed countries in which this law is essentially a religious law that has been in place, and that is the law that everybody likes to, or everybody goes by. For example, it would be something to the extreme of if you deny Islam, you can be murdered. Think of it very much like old school biblical law. You get caught in adultery, you get buried in the dirt and get stoned to death. That sort of thing. So I said, ma'am, that's not Sharia law. That's a terror attack. And then this person, and I've already said it as a woman, but this woman said, you must be getting paid by the Muslims. Now, let that sink in for a second. She said, because I said, that's not Sharia law, ma'am. I think you're confused. Donald Trump isn't going to stop Sharia law because Sharia law is not the law that we are governed by. That's not Sharia law. That's a terror attack, and it's illegal. Sharia law would be like, oh, that's legal for them to do that. It's a terror attack. It's illegal. They will be prosecuted. That person will. It is against the Constitution. It is against every law that we live as Americans. But because I said that, which to me is a very kind of matter of fact, like, oh, I'm wearing a black sweatshirt. It's just a fact. Her response was, I must be getting paid by the Muslims. And it wasn't satirical. This woman, and this is a demographic thing, I've noticed this. The post that I post about Donald Trump and his words being like Lil Wayne lyrics has reached over 3 million people. Now, and it's been shared over 30,000 times. So you know that brings in some strange individuals. Abby Payne says, bless her heart. Yeah, that's a nice way of saying it. So, 3 million people are now commenting on this. So you know there's going to be some interesting people. The problem that I had wasn't the crazy Trump is going to stop Sharia law. It wasn't the I'm getting paid by the Muslims. It was the fact that post and several people following that thread said, I agree with you, ma'am. I agree. Preach it. Tell it like it is. Like. So it wasn't just me dealing with one person who was a little off. It was literally me dealing with a gaggle of people who are so unbelievably clueless. Unbelievably clueless to how our country works, to the reality and to the inner workings of just day-to-day life. I mean, come on, look, I'm sure that there are things going on behind the scenes that we don't see. I'm sure there are meetings, secret meetings of people who are like, how can we screw the country as much as possible? Like, I get that, okay? I'm not saying I buy into it, but I believe that there's some shady stuff happening. But when you cannot even simply just do a Wikipedia search on what reality is. I mean, we have websites like Snopes, even though they're a far liberal, very left-leaning website. You can still go to Snopes and just look it up. I mean, I love Google. I hate relying on Google for everything, but I love Google because if there's something that I don't understand, or if I'm going to type something and post it, and I'm like, oh, what does this word mean? Let me make sure it means what I think it means. I go to Google and I find out the definition of it. It's very simple. It's very easy. In fact, my phone is so smart that I can just say, okay, Google, and it'll open up Google for me to search. Like, it's amazing. Siri does the same thing. Oops, excuse me. On iTunes for iPhones. So we are dealing with, in our country, on both sides of the Hillary and the Donald issue, we are dealing with this blind faith idolatry. These people have exalted beyond reason, beyond control, beyond understanding, have exalted these candidates to be God. And they sacrifice reality, they sacrifice logic, they sacrifice reason for the sake of their God. And they are willing to die. They are willing to become martyrs for Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. And, and here's the thing, guys. Look, I'm not going to tell you not to vote for Donald or Hillary, okay? I simply want you to vote your conscience, all right? If your conscience says, I can't vote for someone who belittles women, or if your conscience says, I can't vote for someone who promotes belittling of women via her husband, then don't vote for those people. There are other people to vote for that you can give your vote for, or just don't vote at all. Or don't vote for a candidate, but vote for issues. I mean, guys, obviously, as American citizens, for most of us that are watching, you guys have every right to vote your conscience. But don't go into it blindly thinking, if I don't vote for Donald, then Hillary's going to get a vote. That's not how it works. It isn't how it works. And it's so hard to find the truth in that, because you have so many very biased media outlets that will tell you one way or the other. They will tell you, if you don't vote for Hillary, then you're giving a vote for Trump. You have to vote your conscience. And I 100%, I mean, the Bible is very clear that we are accountable for the things that we are approving of. Your vote is an approval of that thing. Okay? So, for example, and I use abortion as a key. To me, that's the plumb line for every candidate. If you support abortion, you don't get my vote. Period. We start there. Then I go on the rest of the issues. So, well, what else can I, let me look at what they think about the church. Let me go with what they think about state governance, federal governments, all of that stuff. So, if you look at a candidate, and if I look at a candidate and they are pro-abortion, then I say, okay, well, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to. I don't care how clear they are in any other issue. The murdering of babies is the most simple, the most basic thing for me to stand on. So I say no. Okay, I'm not going to go with them. I can't justifiably vote for somebody that does that, no matter what. I can't do that. I can't. With my conscience, God is going to hold me accountable for the things that I advocate for. And there's a verse in Romans, I think it's Romans 1:32, and I just posted it earlier today, but it essentially says people not only become sinners themselves, but become advocates for sin. And it basically is denoting God's displeasure with that mentality or that mindset. So I cannot advocate. Now, okay, so the argument is, so nobody's perfect then. We're all sinners. Well, yes, we're all sinners. Do we vote for no one? No, that's not what I'm saying. But when issues are brought to light, and a stance is brought to light, and a thing is brought to light that you adamantly oppose religiously, morally, you oppose that, by casting your vote for that person, you are approving what they stand on. And I'm just tired of the arguments. If I know, for example, I really wanted to go third party with Gary Johnson. In fact, Austin Peterson was my libertarian choice before Gary got the spot, right? So Austin Peterson was my guy. I liked him. I liked almost everything that he said. There were some things that I disagreed with, but they were debatable, and it wasn't really it wasn't an issue. So I can't vote for Johnson now, even though he's a libertarian and stands very similar to Austin, but because Johnson supports abortion, the murdering of babies, guys. I mean, this is. Did you know that science, secular science, not Christian, not religious science, secular science says now that the clump of cells argument is not an argument anymore. That babies are living beings inside of their mother. They are no longer, it's no longer a clump of cell. They don't use that argument that it's not a human being anymore. So, think about that, okay? We have gotten to a point in our society where we have acknowledged that it's a human life. We have acknowledged that it is a living human being, that it could sustain itself, well, with help, could be sustained alive with the help of medical, if it was given if it was birthed early or there were complications. So it could be sustained so super early, way earlier than science even thought. Okay, so now science has recognized this. We still reject it. The pro-choice people still reject, and actually they don't even reject it. They don't even reject good science anymore. Like, it's past the point of rejection. It literally is a hungering for murder. It's a craving to murder. It is murder personified. We have now gone past, we are sacrificing to the god Molech who wants the lives of our babies. We have abandoned reason. We have abandoned logic, we have abandoned science, and we have said it doesn't matter what science says, even though we want science on our side for everything else. It doesn't matter what science says, we're going to murder children because it's more convenient for me to live the life that I want to live. It's more convenient for me to not be inconvenienced by a child, to not be able to not have to, it's more inconvenience for me to spend extra money on baby food and baby classes and baby clothes and diapers, and I won't be able to go out and do what I want to do. I won't be able to buy what I want to buy. I won't be able to have the relationships that I want to have because that baby would stop me from doing so. So instead of doing the right thing, I'm going to murder that person that's living inside of me. And the arguments don't even make sense. I posted something earlier today that says, conversation with a pro-choicer, right? So, do you believe that a man has the ability to choose what he wants to do with his body? Well, yes, I do. Okay, well, what if that man says that he wants to rape someone? Well, no, he can't do that. Well, why not? Well, because by him raping somebody, he's actually affecting the life of someone else. Oh, well, that's interesting, because that's kind of how abortion works. Your choice as a woman with carrying this child, now it's between you or this baby's life. But you are still deciding to take that child's life over your own. Now, here's the thing. This is the problem that I have, okay? We talk about abortion, we post memes, we speak out against it, okay? We go to galas, we donate money to organizations that help, right? There are lots of viable alternatives to Planned Parenthood. There are pregnancy resource centers everywhere that pay for almost everything, right? We do that, but I don't think that it's enough. I think that we, as human beings, we think that these organizations have it. Okay, well, they're doing a good job, so I'm just going to let them keep doing it. These people need help, and they need more of us to do something about it. They need more of us to stand up and to actually to promote the life of a child. No matter the cost to us, sacrificial life for us, coming from us to these children that are being murdered. 50 million babies, 50 million children, 50 million people that could have done something, senselessly killed for the selfishness of a people that was more convenient to take the life of someone else than to give up some of their own life to raise that child. 50 million since the 70s. And I know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I know that heaven is going to be full of beautiful babies who've been killed. We don't do enough. We don't do enough. We don't do enough. The sanctity of life doesn't mean anything in our country I mean, I've talked to my wife several times. I want to go to these clinics. I want to find abortion clinics, Planned Parenthoods, and I just want to go out and offer to take care of those children. I will adopt your baby. I will take it, no matter the strain on me and my family, no matter how much financially we are burdened, no matter how much work it takes to raise another child, I will adopt your baby. I will raise it. I will do it. It doesn't matter. I'm so sickened by what this country has accepted. It's all idolatry, whether it's the worship of a candidate or the worship of ourselves. We have created God in our own image, and most of the time, for most people, we have become our own God. And it's time that we have to do something. We are sacrificing our children at the altar of self. And I don't know when enough is going to be enough. So I'm sorry for getting a little bit a little emotional. I really think about this a lot. I really think about the babies. I think about adoption. I think about raising as many children as I possibly can. I mean, I have 4 of my own, and I will take more. I will take as many as it's possible to stop abortion. We have to do something, guys. We have to. And it starts with your vote. It starts with your vote and what you support and who you support. That's it. That's all I got. A little bit more of a sobering episode of the Dirty Christian Podcast, but it is what it is. Listen, I love you guys so much. Just keep doing what you're doing. Continue to preach the gospel. Continue to live righteously. Continue to worship God with everything that you have, with your mind, your body, your soul, your strength, everything. God is good, and He is worthy to be praised. And I thank you guys for sticking it out with me. I don't know what more craziness this election stuff is going to bring to this page, but bear with me. If I seem to stress out a little bit, it's probably because of that. But God will get the glory. And you know what? At the end of the day, God is in control. And I don't ever question that. God is in control. That whatever candidate goes into office, it's going to be for God's glory, for a specific reason and a specific purpose. So I have comfort in that at the end of the day, no matter what. Check out thedirtychristian.com. Follow me on Twitter, at thedirtyxian. Find me, subscribe to me on YouTube, youtube.com/thedirtychristian. And of course on Facebook, facebook.com/preacherkaler. That's Koehler. I know it looks like Kohler. It's spelled Kaler. But I'm going to go ahead and close the podcast out. I'm going to stay around for about 10 minutes. And we'll do a Q&A if you have any questions for me. But if not, whatever. This is episode 66 of the Dirty Christian Podcast. I love you guys. God bless you. Dirty Christian, I'm out. Ooh, all right. Okay, so that's it for the podcast. I got to stretch my knee out. Oh. I did hack squats today in the gym. Well, thank you, Rob Digby. You guys, if you don't have time to watch these whole episodes, you can listen to them on Podbean. If you just search for The Dirty Christian, go to podbean.com, search for The Dirty Christian. This is 66, episode 66. You guys can listen to all of the shows that I do. And I've done tons. I've had a lot of different concepts and stuff. So thank you, Rob, for checking this out and saying it's awesome. I try to be educational. And Lisa, I just saw your thing about praying. Yeah, let's go ahead and just pray. Why not? There's no reason to not. Let's do it. Father God, I thank you. God, I thank you so much for for how amazing and awesome you are. And Lord, I pray for every single person out there that's listening, that's watching, that's struggling, that's going through something, that's having a hard time. God, I pray that you bring your presence into their lives, Lord. I pray that you would soften their heart, God, that you would speak to them through the gospel of Jesus Christ, that you would reach out to them, that the people that are on the hearts of those that are listening here with us right now, praying with us right now, those people that we are thinking about, God, that you would just drop the scales off of their eyes to see your glory and your grace. Lord, I pray for every woman right now that has had an abortion, that is thinking about having an abortion, that has a friend that's having an abortion or thinking about it, Lord, that every single person affected by abortion in some way, shape, or form will be brought to a knowledge and understanding and peace that only you can provide, God. I pray for all of the babies, God. I pray for all of the children that are going through something, all of the families going through something. I pray for support for them, for financial support for them, for comfort, for shelter, for food, for everything that they need, God. And I pray that you would just get glory, God. We continue to pray that your will be done in this election season, in this season of high stress and high drama. Your will be done, God. We trust you, we love you, we thank you. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, so I got some questions here. I like how Facebook is behind the scenes. Do you no longer do the podcast on YouTube Live? No. So Carson, the reason that I can't do the podcast on YouTube Live is because I have to choose one or the other, whether Facebook or YouTube. And just to be honest with you, the audience on Facebook is larger, and so it's easier for me. Now what I do is I will take this from Facebook, and I will download it and then upload it to YouTube, and so that you can still watch it. You just can't do it live. But the podcast is available still for people to watch on YouTube. All right, so Abby has an amusing story about Marcus Rogers, so I'm happy to hear that. If you want to type it out here, or you can even send me a message, that's fine. So what do you guys have for me? Questions-wise, comments, concerns, encouragement, discouragement, recouragement. Josh says I should pray every time from now on. Well, maybe I will. So much passion toward pro-life. Why wouldn't you vote for the one presidential candidate that is pro-life for that reason alone? Because I can't, with good conscience, vote for the I can't advocate the rest of his stance and his intolerance. I can't sacrifice the pro-life thing for an acceptance of everything else. So that's the problem I have with that. Thanks, Josh. Jesus destroyed the market stalls in the temple. If we see an altar, figuratively or literally, we should destroy it. Can we destroy it, or should we always use compassion towards the owners of the altar? I don't want to destroy anything, but I'm not. Jesus destroyed the... Jesus was justified, first of all, because he's God. And second of all, he was flipping tables in the temple itself, which was a place of worship of Jehovah, Father God. Jesus did not go to other places of worship and destroy them. So that's why we can't do that. We just prayed across the country. That's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. I would love to learn more about adoption. My wife and I always talk about it. So Josh, you know what's really cool is that there's an organization in Redmond that is a Christian ministry, and they will pay for all of the legal fees. It's actually the organization that my wife and I were going to go through before we got pregnant with our daughter. I don't remember the name of it exactly, but I will get you that information. Please don't let me forget. But they will pay for all of everything. They just do an interview process and all that stuff. So I'll send you that info. It's really good. A lot of good information. I'm in New Zealand. We just pray across the world, Rob. That's really cool, man. Carson asks, which of the minor prophet books is your favorite? Malachi, Micah, all of them. Something about Joel actually sticks out for me, and I'm not sure why. So I probably need to get back to you on a good reason of why Joel sticks out to me, but I think Joel is it. Keep doing what you do. I will, Brian, until God says otherwise. I'll just type this out here since it's pretty short. Anyway, I bought my mom one of your shirts, and when she found out you called out Marcus Rogers, she fussed at me and gave me the shirts. So yay for me. Oh man, which shirt did you buy, and which shirt did she not like? Yeah, I should, Mom. That's good. I'll do a study on Joel. I think that would be good. Do you ever do any events, or would you be interested in doing an event? Chris, I have made myself very available for events. I've been asked to go to a couple places to speak. It just hasn't worked out. But depending on the type of event that you're talking about, I would be totally open to something. I'm one guy. I don't have a production staff. I don't have a team. I don't have a PR person. Like, I'm literally me. So planning everything would be like me and my wife, like, sitting around and planning. And she homeschools, and we're super busy anyway. So it would be hard. But I'm open to all kinds of possibilities, speaking events and everything. Matt says you have a chance to possibly save unborn lives with your vote. Don't you think that Jesus would understand? I still trust in a sovereign God, and he's speaking about the abortion thing. He's speaking about why not just vote for a candidate that supports pro-life, and it's still, I don't believe in the lesser of two evil arguments. I believe, just like Spurgeon said, if you confronted with the choice of two evils, choose neither. You know, one bit of truth doesn't trump, pun intended, I guess, a vote. So it was the do you even lift his name? Oh, okay. I like that shirt too. I use that for working out. Yes, Chris, send me a PM about it, absolutely. Or you can always email me at contact@thedirtychristian.com. That is my email for the website, but I answer like every message that I get on here. So I'd be happy to just PM me. I'll be happy to answer. So Abby, that's interesting. So let me see. Were you the one that posted the picture of you in that shirt? I can't remember. You went to Cleveland State, Abby? You know that I'm from Ohio originally, right? I know. I'm sorry, Luke. That was such a non-intentional pun. It was not intentional at all, I promise. Yeah, so Chris, PM me later. That's fine. And about the shirt, so Abby, you should have your mom listen to the Marcus Rogers response that I did, because I think that I did well enough to do justice, to not be disrespectful, but also to speak the truth in the importance of adhering and acknowledging the Trinity and the dangers of oneness doctrine. So, hey, Paul, I was just reading about Chronos earlier and made me think of our country and child sacrifice. Now, Chronos, I'm gonna sound totally ignorant to Greek mythology, and that it may even be Norse. I don't even know. Chronos, he was the god that demanded child sacrifice to keep himself younger. Was that it? I'm not. You're gonna have to tell me later. And thanks. So this hat was actually I got this just recently because my gray Indians hat started to fray here, so I needed to have another Indians hat. with the original logo because I hate the new C. I mean, I have a few of those hats, but I don't like it. So I got to represent, man. And I guess Cleveland is doing good. Like, sports-wise, they're doing good. So you guys know I'm not a sports guy, but I always support my home team, no matter what. Which is funny because Paul and I served in the Navy together, and he's back in Ohio. And then another friend of mine named Richard, actually, we served in the Navy together as well with Paul, and then Richard and his family are back in Ohio, and they're both pastoring churches, which is just, to me, super cool. Okay, Kronos ate his children to stay in power. Thank you. I do know that they swept Boston Mom. Actually, I saw something. I get all of my news from Facebook, so I saw that. Funny story about Paul Hayes. So back when I was super legalistic in my youth time in Christianity, there was this. We were stationed in Japan together, and there was this place called the Lighthouse, and they were a Christian organization that brought in sailors and other service members and did church stuff with them. And we were the church that I was a part of was on the ship, so we were kind of like our own little subgroup. We beefed with the Lighthouse for no reason. Like, looking back on it now, like, there was no reason that we had beef with the Lighthouse. Like, I can't even think of a good reason, but it was probably like during the time where I thought that the KJV was the only version of the Bible that was reliable. So I've grown a lot, guys. Give me some credit, okay? I've matured a little bit in my relationship and study of the Word of God. So there's that. So that's interesting about Kronos. So we eat our children to stay in power, and it's going to be one of our downfalls, I think. All right. And people laid their children on his burning statue to appease him and themselves. Yeah, that sounds like abortion. How was the audio sync for this podcast this time? Because I know the last couple times we had some issues with the audio. Was everything, when I spoke, did it come out? I hope it did. I hope it was good. Either way, you can always listen to the podcast sans my beautiful face. How many people have you blocked or banned? A lot. Now it depends if you're talking about for the, like, we have the group that I've banned people from, and then we have people on the page that I've banned people from. So, and I typically I try not to. There's two reasons that I try not to ban people from this page. Number one, controversy is good. Now, I try not to be the one controversial. But when people do post stuff, people want to come and comment. And so the way that the Facebook algorithms work is the more people that are posting on the page, the more that it will reach, the posts will reach the audience. So just a little Facebook insight for you. That's how Facebook works. So I try not to kick everybody just for being a whack job. But at some point, as people start to attack me, like some guy just called me an idiot for something like unrelated to anything, and I banned him for that because I was like, that's just dumb. Like, I'm not gonna, if you're not gonna have like if you're not even gonna try, if you're just gonna be like, yeah, that's because you're stupid, then you're not worth. I'm just not gonna deal with you. Sorry. And I do try not to be controversial, Brian. I used to be very controversial, and I learned from that because I learned that it turned more people off, and then this place just became a battleground for people, and learning was not happening as often as it should have. Of course, I'm going to post, naturally, the gospel and the truth of the Bible is going to be controversial, period. It is going to offend people. It's going to be a stumbling block to those who are perishing. I cannot block everybody for being offended and for causing controversy. But I personally am not going to go out of my way. Like, there have been times where I'm just like, oh, I really want to post this, but I know it's going to cause problems, so I don't. With the Dirty Christian page, it was not that way. If you guys will remember, I said the S word one time in a post on purpose that caused a lot of problems. I also posted a picture of me with a beer that caused a lot of problems. I don't do that anymore because I know that that would cause problems. You won't see me post a picture of me with a cigar in my mouth on the page because that would cause problems. Although I have no problem with cigars or beer or any of that type of stuff, but I don't want to go out of my way to be offensive if I don't have to. The gospel is offensive enough. Let the gospel be offensive. Let the truth be offensive, not me. And I think we can all try to live by that mantra and be in good standings. I know that you're not blaming me. I understand that. You guys, those of you who have stuck around, like Christian memes, you guys will notice that Christian memes, and I don't like cussing, Mom. I mean, I'm not a fan of it. So Linda is my mother-in-law. So I'm not a fan of cussing. I actually dropped the S-bomb for a very specific reason. It was to be controversial, but it was also for a point. But I don't like it. And you won't see me do that on purpose. But yeah. What was I saying? I was saying something, and I forget now. Oh, so Christian memes got shut down, guys. Did you guys see that? So somebody came in and hacked Michael Schaefer's account, got into the back end of Christian memes, removed all of the admins from their page, and then appointed themselves as admin, and then basically removed Michael from the page. So Christian memes with 700,000 followers has been taken over by non-Christians. So if you follow that page, you need to unfollow it. And he's actually created a new Christian memes. It's called Christian Memes Born Again. That is a legit Christian memes page. Christian memes was hacked, and it's very unfortunate. And I wasn't hacked, but I've been there. I've been shut down, and I know the pain of that. Carson, I don't know if it's back though. Like, I don't know if it may be back up, but I don't know if it is actually Michael Schaefer again, because I follow Michael Schaefer, and he I'm gonna go look at it. So, and I'm looking, and maybe it is back. I'm not sure. So it says he's back. Okay, so that's good. All right, well, I guess I'm just confused. So he got the page back. Congratulations. That's actually really good. I'm going to have to shoot Michael a congratulatory mark. You know what would be nice is if you brought the Dirty Christian page back, Facebook. I have to talk to my Christian youth group soon. Do you have any advice on how to come up with ideas to talk about? So, Andreas, I would say, what are the issues in your area that people are talking about? And then talk about that. But bring Christ into it. So, how does it glorify Christ? So, I don't know where you're from. I'm not entirely sure that you are from the United States. So, do that. Yeah, I fired shots at Facebook. I'm not going to get the Dirty Christian back. I don't even know what avenue, I don't know how he even got it back. But I did as much as I possibly could to bring it back. And yeah, I mean, and like Brian says, you like this page better. It's not the page that you like better, it's me that you like better than the old me. But, God humbled me through that, and that's fine. I mean, I'm happy. Look, I think we've grown to 5,066 likes. That's cool. You know what I mean? Like, I'll take it. I'm happy with that. So that's acceptable. So Denmark. Okay, cool. So, I don't know what the issues are for Denmark, brother. My recommendation would be to talk about what people are talking about, whether it's a political thing, a social thing. People want to know how to be. People want to know how to respond to stuff. They want to know how to be around things. Those things are important. I love you too, Carson King. And you're right, Brian. Numbers are completely irrelevant. I mean, the fact is that if one person comes to a better relationship, is discipled through this page, then I feel like my work is done, and I know for a fact that people have learned and grown with me on this page. So, all right, guys, cool. I'm gonna go. I gotta go pick up the little one from school here in a little bit. I love you guys. God bless you. Thank you for hanging out with me today, and have a great rest of your guys' day. We will talk later. See you guys on the internets. Goodbye.